Today I'm testing a theory, a concept that who we are as humans at this very moment is shaped around the interactions that we have with the world around us. And how I'm testing this is I'm asking 25 strangers, what is your favorite childhood memory? And I'm willing to bet that all the memories, the stories that they come up with are surrounded around two key concepts. The first is that's an actual experience, that they're interacting with the outside world. Whether it's exciting, that it's new, that it's something that you do every day, it's some type of interaction, experience that you have with the world around us. And the second, it's with something else. Whether it's actual human, an animal, or just seeing something new, it is an experience that you see, that you interact with something else, you coexist. So, I guess there's only one way to find out.
My favorite childhood memory would be going to the duck pond with my grandma.
Going to the beach with my parents.
All of the dads got together in the cul-de-sac and built us a luge from the snow that had fallen.
When I was in the gospel choir.
Going to rodeos.
Summers in Chicago with my grandparents.
We were coming here to Florida to live. I was on an airplane with my dad, and I just remember sitting on his lap and eating peanuts out of his hand. All the cooking we used to do, all the cooking out, the low country boils, all the seafood, the fishing, the beach.
When I was living in Ocala, next to John Travolta and the whole flying community, and feeding horses and yeah, that.
When my brothers and sisters arrived from Argentina, and because it had been years since I've seen them, and I was just so happy to be able to see them again and reconnect with my family.
We went up to Scranton, Pennsylvania with a mission trip for the church to rebuild houses for people that were in need. It was a great time, very spiritual. Met a lot of good friends I'm still in touch with today.
The very first magic trick that I ever learned when I was about 8 or 9 years old was called the cup in the ball, and I truly enjoyed it because I got to do it for my family and friends and entertain them and watch them smile.
When I had one-on-one time with my grandmother, I was one of 7 grandchildren, and I was also the baby for 10 years and loved every second of it. She would tell me stories about her growing up with her 10 siblings, and she would tell me stories about my parents, so they're all memories that I cherish.
My dad, who was legally blind, he used to walk me to school every day, and after school we would go to the Roy Rogers, which was like a mile or so past my school, and get a sundae every day, and then he would walk me home.
Traveling to Austria with my parents at an early age. Being in the mountains, I remember looking out of the window of a cottage we were at. I was 6 years old and just seeing a whole different culture, different than my own. It really sparked a lifelong love for travel, and that's something I hold dear today.
I broke both my arms at the same time by falling off a swing, and that's when I had the most friends because everyone wanted to sign them, and the girls would sign that hand and the boys sign that hand, and that's the first time I talked to like 10 girls at once, so it's a good time in my life.
I would spend summers up in North Carolina, and we had this cabin, and you could go out on the back porch and see the mountains touch the sky.
When me and my little sister and my cousin used to ride in the 3rd seat of my grandmother's SUV, and we used to pretend that we were running from aliens and that we were spies.
I went to the Miami-Dade Fair, like for the first time. It's like a lot of things. It's probably as big as this part, really, like all different sections, all different types of fair things. And I was there for from 3 in the afternoon to probably 12 at night. Like I was just there all night. It was just fun, I guess.
My dad had a boat, and I remember one particular time we were out probably on this river, and he was just, it was my uncle, my mom, my brother, and he was just blaring Pearl Jam. Like from across the way you could hear it, and like Pearl Jam just came into town, and me and my brother went and seen them, so just having that little flashback was awesome.
I tried to lick chocolate syrup off the counter, and I was on one of those stools, and I ended up falling backwards on it and busting my head open on the little handle of the drawer right behind me. And my mom started freaking out, ready to call rescue, it was just a little cut, but she was ready to take me to the hospital, and she ended up calling her boyfriend, and he came, calmed her down, I guess, and we just ended up painting the side of the house.
Coming up as a kid, I had a dog, a cat, and a geese. And all 3 was raised together as a childhood coming up, and those were my pets. And the strangest thing, a person will say, those animals don't get along. And all 3 of mine got along. When neighborhood strays come in my yard, all three of them just look out for each other.
When I was living in Japan, because my dad was in the military, and we were taking a 12-hour bus ride from basically Yokohama to a place called Misawa. And when you live in Yokohama and Tokyo, it's all city. And we drove far enough through the night to where we were in the country, and in the morning at dawn, the sun started breaking through the clouds. You can see the mountains in the background, and in the foreground there were farmlands. And to me, just in that moment, there was just complete peace. And probably one of the first times I've ever experienced the idea of just everything was in exactly where it needed to be.
We all went together and moved into a great big house in a very lovely village, and it had all kinds of rooms and stairways and yards, and there was a room for all of us. Each of us, we had 5 kids, and where we moved from, we had to share rooms.
My first concert, I was about 16, and I thought it was the coolest thing, and all my friends were like really into music, but I was never really allowed to go out, and my parents gave me the first okay that yeah, you can go to a concert. So I just remember getting there and just seeing this massive line of people, and my heart was racing because I've never really listened to anything live before. And I just remember walking through and just seeing a sea of people in front of this stage and just waiting, and then all of a sudden when the bass kicked in, you just felt it go through your whole body, and you're like, this is live music.
When I was in Georgia on Stone Mountain, it was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we walked up it while it was starting to get stormy and cloudy, and a lightning storm came, and they had to shut the lifts down. And I looked around me, and we were like 10,000 feet up in the air, and right next to me, lightning is coming down. I swear I was gonna get shocked. It was the most beautiful thing in the world to see the clouds and the rain and the lightning storm, feeling like it was 3 feet away from me, feeling like I was able to touch it. It was the most exhilarating and the most exciting thing I've ever experienced in my life. I wish I could go back to that very moment and feel that joy of feeling like I was in the clouds, feeling like I was part of the atmosphere. It was beautiful.